But one of the things that is making the headlines is Muslim reservation. And this has pushed the opposition, some believe, on the back foot. There's a belief that somewhere the BJP has chosen to interpret your manifesto, and this is the Prime Minister as well, that the Congress, if it comes to power, will ensure in some form Muslim reservations and thereby playing on the insecurities and fears that Hindus may have. How do you respond? Is this again somewhere where the opposition perhaps has allowed Mr. Modi to play Hindutva politics when you have the likes of Lalu Prasad speak about Muslim reservations, play on his pitch?
Rajdeep, you say you've read the manifesto. You know perfectly well there is no reference to Muslim reservation in the manifesto. I mean, the fact of the matter is, Mr. Modi is deliberately conflating an issue that the BJP had tried to flog during the last Karnataka elections with the Lok Sabha elections nationally. Now, we all very well know that in our country there are reservations both by the national government and by state governments, and that those reservations will vary. And as far as this particular Lok Sabha election is concerned, it's about the national government, and therefore it's not a set of state issues. It so happens that in 2 or 3 states, yes, state governments have at different times implemented policies under which some Muslims have been deemed to be part of the OBCs. And in those states, Muslims also benefit, are also included amongst those eligible under OBC reservations. But that is not yet a central government policy at any stage, nor has it been proposed by us in our manifesto. So again, it's a deliberate conflation by the BJP of the reality in 2 or 3 states. I think Karnataka, Tamil Nadu and Kerala have variations of this provision. And the Congress Party's national manifesto, which does not have this provision. So once again, we're talking about issues that don't exist. You know, it's an amazing issue. We published a manifesto. I was very proud to be part of the committee that prepared it. We all thought that this might be discussed by the public, and we paid much attention to it. We never expected a day would come when the only discussion would be on things we haven't said in the manifesto, but they claim we intend. I mean, this is absurd. I mean, this is almost a sort of Orwellian world that we're living in this particular election.
Let me just step back a bit, Dr. Tharoor. 2014 was seen as an election, as a vote for change. People wanted to get rid of the UPA government at the time. 2019 was seen as a vote for a kind of post-Balakot muscular leadership that the Prime Minister was seen to offer. Prime Minister Modi's supporters claim that this time voters want to vote for stability, for continuity, for more of the same. For example, continuity with 5 kg free ration per month to poor families. The government's supporters say that this is an election where the majority of people want stability and continuity, and that's the real narrative away from all the other issues that are being made talking points and headlines.
Well, because the fact is very simply, Rajdeep, that stability to achieve what? I mean, the question that I have asked Mr. Modi and his fans and his party's representatives in the last few years is, what have you done for the people who voted for you 10 years ago, expecting that you'll be delivering jobs to them when they still don't have jobs? What have you done for people whom you promised to double the income of farmers, and you have not even raised farmers' income by 10%? What have you done to justify the faith of those you said you would return 15 lakhs of black money for every Indian citizen, put them in their bank account? What have you done for them? What have you done essentially to make sure that the Aam Aadmi in this country is able to afford a decent standard of living and 3 square meals a day? You've imposed punitive taxes on fuel, diesel, petrol, and so on, which have driven up the prices of all other commodities. And India is a very price-sensitive nation. Even if you can say that our inflation is not high by global standards, it is high by what the Indian public can bear. So we are talking about basic issues of welfare. Stability doesn't guarantee welfare. The track record of coalition governments in India has been far better than those of one-party governments when it comes to economic growth and human well-being. And I believe that the coalition government that the India bloc is going to bring into office soon after June 4th will be able to match the record of other coalition governments in giving India better economic growth and better progress than India has seen in the last 10 years of Mr. Modi.
But Dr. Tharoor, you're saying now that the India Alliance government will come to power on June 4th. The fact is, this election has started with the BJP saying, "Ab ki baar 400 par." Even in the worst case scenario, most psephologists believe the BJP could go down to 270, 280, but still be well ahead of the India alliance. Are you in that sense daydreaming when you say India alliance will form a government on June 4th? I haven't heard anything from India alliance partners to suggest how they will form a government. It's one thing to say BJP won't cross 400, but how will you form a government, especially the Congress, which has to rise from just 53 seats last time?
Look, Rajdeep, it's very simple. The fact remains that half the seats have voted so far in the first three phases. The other half have to vote in the remaining four phases. And the trends emerging from that are a certain degree of abstention or absenteeism in the BJP strongholds and an enthusiastic turnout for opposition candidates in our areas or the areas where we expected people to show up and support us. The signs we're getting point to a dramatic decline in BJP's vote. They only have a majority of 31 seats, that's 303. Every indication is that the present trends continue, and that, of course, is an if, that they're going to drop well below 240. In fact, instead of ab ki baar 400 par, it's going to be ab ki baar 300 har for the BJP. And they're going to lose at least 300 seats across the country altogether for their alliance, and they will end up somewhere south of 240 seats, at which level I think all bets are off. They may still be given an opportunity to attempt to form a government, but I don't see the BJP finding allies willing to sup with the devil, as it were, at that level. And you're likely very, very much to see the Alternative India bloc coming together and some of the current fence-sitters joining us as well. I don't think any of us is suggesting that it'll be a complete sweeping wave election for us. There's no sign of a wave on either side. But I think the apathy and indifference of the BJP's core supporters is enough to demonstrate that they are the ones who have much more to fear on the 4th of June.
You know, all I can say, Dr. Tharoor, is that the BJP seems to believe very clearly that it's the Congress and opposition voters who are not coming to the polling booths, that they believe there's an inevitability to the outcome. But you're giving a completely different perspective. So what can I say? Umeed par duniya kaam hai for the opposition. You seem to live in hope, and you're certainly seemingly more hopeful than you were just a month ago.
We're very hopeful, Rajdeep, and I think the nation too will wake to a new dawn when the results are out on the 4th of June.
Shashi Tharoor, thank you very much for giving us an opposition perspective on the state of play as you see it at the halfway mark in this 2024 election.